Hi everyone, Tom Vogel back with you with Wrestling's Finest PC Pro Wrestling game. Quick little reminder here, Wrestling's Finest was designed as a tabletop game back in 1982, and about 15 years ago, with the help of a very good friend of mine, Gary, the game was converted to a PC game that mirrors the tabletop game almost exactly. In my two previous videos, the first one we talked about some of the features of the game, just kind of a quick overview. And then in the last video, I walked you through how to set a matchup, and that's kind of where we're at right now. What I'm going to do in this video here is we're going to focus on one thing, and that are the strategy cards that are a big part of the game. Each wrestler is rated for how many strategy cards he can receive, and for this match here, the one we already set up, Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan, all our settings have remained the same, and here is where we're going to talk about strategy cards. You'll see Roddy has 7 and Hulk Hogan has 5. That number, every time Roddy wrestles, he gets 7, and every time Hulk wrestles, he gets 5. And I want to say there's 11 different strategy cards, and each strategy card can only be played one time. You cannot take any additional strategy cards during the match, so Roddy gets 7, that's it, and Hulk gets 5, and that's it. Consider it, the strategy cards are kind of like timeouts, as far as if you don't use them, you lose them, but once you use them, you do not get any of them back. So let's take a look here at our challenger, Roddy Piper, and we're going to look at which strategy cards he has. Okay, his first one, this allows him to call for outside help any time in the match. Doesn't matter if he's in control or what, he can just call for outside help. With Wrestling's Finest, we have 2 different outside helps. One is during a pin or submission attempt, and if it's called for, most of the time, probably in the 80 percentile or maybe 75 percentile, if it's a heel, he's going to get disqualified. Typically, he'll call it if he's getting pinned or might be close to submitting. So that's the first outside help system we have. The second one is kind of what the strategy card is, anytime. It means at any point in the match, Roddy can call for outside help. Doesn't matter if in control, if his opponent Hulk Hogan's in control, Roddy can call for outside help. The only time that comes into play, though, is if it's not a pin attempt. A pin or submission supersedes the other outside help. 2 different charts are used. If you call for outside help during a non-pin or submission situation, you still have a pretty good chance of getting disqualified, but it's not near as frequent as if it's during a pin or submission. When you play a strategy card, you just basically click play this card, and then the playing of the card is incorporated into the game. Roddy's next strategy card is after a successful hold, use outside ring chart. So if Roddy has a successful hold, he then can attempt to take Hulk outside the ring. Just because he plays the card doesn't necessarily mean he gets to. It means he gets to. You'll see here we have a card number. This is the second strategy card. So now we go to 3. Counter strategy used by your opponent. This allows Roddy to counter any strategy card that Hulk Hogan's playing. Next strategy card, number 4, he has another outside the help card. 5, he has another one, outside help. And then 6, he has another, after a successful hold, use outside ring chart. So, I believe we have one more. 7, we have another outside hold card. So, if you look at what Roddy has, I believe he has 3 outside helps, 1 counter, and then 3 outside ring charts. So, pretty good strategy cards for a heel. It'd been nice to get a specialty hold, and let's see if Hulk gets one of those. So Hulk has 5. This one here allows Hulk to stop a DQ from himself. So if he has a successful hold come up, he could stop being himself from getting disqualified. This was the last strategy card put in. It was probably about 11, 12 years ago by my friend John. It's a very important strategy card, and one that I strongly encourage that everybody uses on every opportunity, because if you don't use this card, your match could end right then and there with a DQ. And the point of these cards is to stop DQs, especially early on in matches. You really need to use this card every opportunity you get. His second card, here's a good one. This is one of the best cards you can have. After a successful hold, Hulk can use a specific specialty hold. And before we start our match, in the next video, we're going to look at both wrestlers' cards and take a real close look at things. Basically, Hulk has 3 specialty moves. One's a clothesline, one's his leg drop, and then one's a body slam leg drop combination. Very important. If you land those holds, it really can increase the chances of pinning your opponent. So this is a very strong card. Next one, we have another stop DQ. That's his third one. Fourth one, he gets another specific specialty. And then the fifth one, he gets a outside ring opportunity card. Same one Roddy had. So, ones that have not been shown yet that neither wrestler obtained for this match. There's one where a wrestler can roll outside the ring to take a breather. He gets to add 10 to his stamina. That can only be played after a successful hold. There's another strategy card that allows the wrestler to make it to the ropes during pin or submissions. So if you have a high pin rating, it looks like you're going to get pinned, it would be wise for the wrestler to use that card because it automatically stops the pin hold or pin attempt or submission attempt. Another one is a wrestler can use a foreign object. Typically only heels would be using that card. Another one is similar to the specific specialty hold card that Hulk had 2 of, and it's very similar, but it will say use a hold from the specialty hold section, and the computer will decide which hold is going to be attempted based on the probability how often the wrestler used that hold. The one Hulk has, he actually gets to pick his hold, and that is important because you might consider picking a hold that your opponent has a lower counter for, and in the next video when we go through the cards I'll point that out. I'm trying to think if we have any other cards, strategy cards. None are coming to mind. The outside help card is very important in tag team matches because it allows you to call your partner to break up pin attempts. Again, each match when it starts, each wrestler is assigned his strategy cards based on the number he has, and then it's up to the gamer to play them during the match. Now, how I play it, they were designed for the solitary gamer, where you basically pick the strategy card you want to use for the wrestler at that point, and you just have to do a good job of pretending to not know what your opponent's strategy cards are. In other words, make your decision each time you use a card solely independent of what the opponent has. So for example, if Hulk Hogan's in a position to use a strategy card and you think it's wise, go ahead and use the card. Don't not use it because Roddy might have a counter card or Roddy might have better cards. Just pick your strategy for that wrestler at that given time. If all of a sudden Roddy assumes control, then do the same for Roddy. If you have a strategy card you might want to play, then play that card based on Roddy's situation. Do not give any consideration to what cards Hulk has. Roddy would play his strategy card, and Hulk too, based on information of the match, whether it's stamina off, you could just go with a gut feeling you have, where you are in the match, as far as time, how you feel the momentum's going. As the gamer, it's up to you to decide. The strategy cards add a whole new element to the game. It's luck of the draw, but that's kind of the point of them too, is it can make a very average wrestler stronger based on his strategy cards, or it could make a very good wrestler a little weaker because he doesn't get as strong as strategy cards as his opponent. In this case, Hulk Hogan in this match definitely has the stronger strategy cards. Those two specific specialty hold cards are very, very important, although Roddy does have the counter card. So if he feels, if Hulk's going to play a card, the specialty hold card, and Roddy feels that if Hulk was to land it, that it would put Roddy in serious danger, Roddy could very well decide to counter that strategy card. Again, very, very important part of Wrestling's Finest, and I think it takes it to a whole new element where it allows the gamer to have some choices. In a future video here in a little while, we're going to do one that addresses the computer opponent, where you can allow one or both wrestlers to be controlled by the computer, and then the computer will make the strategy card choices based on certain elements of the match. It allows the gamer not to become involved in it. But I do know lots of gamers control both wrestlers, and they're very comfortable using the strategy cards. If I can think of another strategy card that I forgot to mention, when we start our match in the next video, I'm going to do another match between these two where the strategy cards come into play. I will point that out, but as of right now, I can't think of a strategy card I missed, but I will take a close look. So I'm going to say goodbye right now. Again, I'm going to let the game say goodbye to everyone, and I really appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos, and hopefully you're picking up some game tips, and if you're considering Wrestling's Finest, hopefully, you know, the features I'm pointing out have some interest to you. Again, thank you everyone, and have a great night.
Well, that's about it. Son of a gun, we've enjoyed it. Looking forward to next week. I guess we'll have to wait a week before we get to it, but we'll be right back again. For Corey Macklin, Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.